So you have your Chrome browser open, and the next step is to get to a new tab page. And you can get there one of two ways. Either you've set this apps page to be your home page, just like I have, so that when I click home or open my browser window, it automatically comes up. Or you can click New Tab, which is up at the top. It's right next to the tab, just like a file folder tab, and it'll come up as well. So it depends on how you had your settings in the previous chapter. But I want you to get to a new tab page. I would like for us to look at the features within the new tab page. The first thing I want you to notice is that I have multiple apps listed here. You might as well. And as you add apps, you can have multiple pages of them. And the question probably is, what are apps? Sometimes apps are just clearly a bookmark that goes to some place on the internet, and some are actually an app developed to work within the Chrome browser itself. I can get to my apps pages using the toggle arrows on the side. I can also go to the bottom of the screen. You'll notice it says there's my apps pages, and I can toggle from one page to the next using the buttons on the bottom. I want you to go to the leftmost toggle, so you can do it using the arrow, or on the bottom find where it says most visited, and notice that these are the locations on the internet that I have most visited recently. Doesn't mean most visited overall necessarily, it just means recently. These are the ones that I've most visited. It may help you get back somewhere quickly. If you don't have something bookmarked but you went there a lot today, then you could probably get back there very, very quickly. I can toggle back to my other apps pages using the arrow, or using again the link on the bottom of the page. Let's also look at what's on the bottom of the page besides the most visited and apps pages. I also have something called other devices. This tells me where I've logged into my Chrome account on any other unit or device, and what I saw once I got there. Maybe you were logged in on a home computer to your Chrome account and you want to go back to what you were reading this morning, then I could look at my home computer and see what I was reading this morning if I want to get back there quickly. So that's by other devices. Also, sometimes I notice that we are visiting a web page and we closed it and we realized we weren't quite finished with it. We may not have bookmarked it, and so I have recently closed as well. And these are places that I went recently on this computer. If I need to get back there quickly, I can if I forgot to bookmark it. Now let's go to the apps again. At the top, remember, I have my Omni toolbar. I have my home button that I established in the settings, and I also have these other little pieces up here at the top that you probably don't have. These are called extensions, things I've added to my account to make my Chrome account and my Chrome browser window open well and easily and do special things. One thing I have is called Lights Out, and it means that if I'm on a YouTube video or any other web page, I can click the light bulb. Let me get to a quick video and pause it so it doesn't actually blare you out right here. I can click the lights out feature, and if I want to show this to students in class, notice it dims everything around there except the video that's being shown. That's called a lights out, and that's an extension. You probably also noticed all the different apps I actually have on here on the bottom. So let's talk about where I found the extensions and the apps on the bottom, and that was in the Chrome store. So if I click on the Chrome store, I can get into the store and I can actually find my apps lots of different ways. They have a search bar at the top, so if you like the Lights Out app, you could type in Lights Out and search, and here Turn Off the Lights is actually the name of that extension. Notice that this extension has a puzzle piece as the icon, and other extensions have full icons. The difference is this: the puzzle piece icon means it's an extension, and it'll be located somewhere at the top of my browser window, and I'll see it on every browser. Every time I use my browser, and no matter what page I'm on, I'm going to see the extension. It'll help me to use my browser. Versus a full icon means that it's an app, and I'm going to see it in the bottom half of my window down here in the apps sections. So let me go back to the Chrome store. Let's talk about some of the extensions that might be helpful to you. So I've already told you about the Lights Out one, which I think is very good. There's also one called Print Clearly. If I type correctly, I can find it. It's right here, Print Clearly. It's called Clearly, and it's from evernote.com. And it allows me, if I click the extension, it looks like the little a light, sort of like a light, that maybe a desk lamp. And when I click it, it tends to clean up my page so that when I print it, I don't have all the extra stuff on the side. So let me go to a page. Here's the project share page. And if I click the Print Clearly, when I go to print it, it'll determine what is most important. So it tries to set it up so that it doesn't give me a lot of extra advertisement on the sides and so forth. Another very useful extension is the Google shortener. So I can type in Google shortener. And here's the goo.gl URL shortener, which works like this. So if I'm on a website and the website name is very, very long, if I use the Google shortener, it gives me a shortened URL or address that I could then give to someone if I'm trying to share a page with them without having to give them a big long address. If you'll take a look at this address up here, notice it's very, very long. I'd have to explain to someone the numbers and the forward slashes and so forth. But if I use my Google shortener, it goes down to just a few characters. So that is a great extension. There are many other fun extensions in the Chrome store. You can just look through the Chrome store and find them. So now let's talk about what apps maybe you want to think about loading. The first place I start is with Google, because here in Brenham ISD, you know, we're using Google Mail and we're using Google Calendar. And so if I type in the word Google, I'm going to get many, many different Google applications, and so you may even want to be more specific. But I definitely would load the Google Calendar app, the Google Drive app, the Google Mail app, which you'll see down further. And of course there's some ones that are related to Google. Notice the difference between the extension and the full apps. And the reason I'm saying load those is because when you start building your apps page here, your mail you're going to be checking every day. That's where our new email system is here in Brenham ISD. Here's my Google Calendar, which is also going to be used here in Brenham ISD, and Google Drive, which is where I can have storage or create documents. You need to be building your own personal learning network with your apps. So what else do you like to do on the internet that helps you with your job or that you learn from? Maybe you subscribe to some blogs, and so you want to put Google Reader as a part of your apps page. Maybe you actually use Blogger to blog for your students. Maybe you use YouTube quite a bit, or the Kindle app, Evernote. These are the ones that I use a lot. Also, my new one is going to be Google Groups. And the reason I'm adding that is because our conferences here in Brenham ISD are going to be a part of Google Groups. So if I want to find that quickly, I can add that. And then just the Google search. So notice when I click on it, it takes me just to the regular Google search page. Of course, this has one of the Google Doodles at the top. So the day that you're looking at this, you probably won't see this on the Google search page because, of course, they change it frequently. But my Mail app takes me to my Google Mail, and since I'm logged in, when we get there, you'll actually see that my mail automatically loads. So all of these can be found in the Chrome store. If you are content specific, there are math apps such as Sketchometry, which is very good, and GeoGebra, which is sort of like the Google Sketchpad that I think a lot of, no, excuse me, not Google Sketchpad, the Geometry Sketchpad that a lot of people use. If you're a Prezi user, there's a link to Prezi. And then I wanted to also talk about apps that were really developed just for Chrome, meaning that they're not just a link to a web page, they're actually an app developed to work in the Chrome browser. This is a popular one, which could also be a time killer. It's called Angry Birds, and if you're an iPad or iPhone user, I'm sure that you've seen Angry Birds. I'd also like to recommend something called Be Funky Photo. It's a photo editing website. They have it in the App Store, and so when you get to the Chrome App Store, you can find Be Funky Photo. It allows you to change up your photos very, very easily. If you're into science, there are many different science apps that you can find. If you're a reading teacher, you may want to look at Powtoon. It's a very interesting animator that students can record themselves actually recording a presentation, sort of like what I'm doing right now, and so forth. There's just a continuation of lots of apps, and they're all found in the Chrome store. So make sure that you go through the popular ones, the ones labeled for entertainment, the ones labeled for education. If you look at, and within education, they actually have them labeled for different grade levels, and that could help you find some things as well. And then finally, down on the bottom of the App Store, you're going to find themes. So you'll notice that my background, I have red on the top and blue. That's actually a theme. And so when you go to the Chrome store, go down to themes, there are hundreds of themes to look through, and it will change what your Google Chrome browser looks like. So you can change it just by clicking on it and choosing it as your theme. So that's what I wanted to look at in this chapter, which is the new tab page and how to load your apps.